Sheriff Nanos. Nanos. Anyway, the ineffective sheriff of Prima County, who is leading the investigation into the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, taking time out of his very busy day of Arizona basketball and playing keep away with evidence with the FBI to sit down and talk to Fox News about everything going on. Might talk some Arizona basketball. I don't know. Who knows? Got some updates that were originally promising until they weren't. And now they are using a quote-unquote signal sniffer to try to find Nancy with her heartbeat, with her pacemaker that gives off Bluetooth signals. They're trying to find her that way. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is Hildreth Investigates. Let's dive into this, shall we? This from Fox News with the ineffective sheriff who might be one of the dumbest people I have ever seen. It hasn't quite risen to the level of Moscow, Idaho, but by God, is he trying to get to that point. Here we go.
That evidence that you speak of, a glove, was found several days later, maybe a couple of days ago.
Maybe a couple... What do you mean, maybe? You are the leader of this investigation. What do you mean, maybe? God, I haven't even played this 5 seconds, and we already have issues. If it wasn't found on day one, good luck using it in court. You opened up the crime scene. Second of all, how in the hell do you miss that on the first go through? That's a major whoops. And you're telling me that like everything that you've now found is like you're just now finding it? Okay, what the hell were you doing the first 12 days of this investigation? Other than going to basketball games? Huh? Circle jerking with everybody else? Like, what are you doing? I mean, where was it found? Who found it? And it really leads to the question of, was it planted? So you can get a resolution and get people off your back.
And the FBI said, hey, we got this glove we found. We'll submit it for...
Oh, the FBI found it. Oh. So, your guys couldn't find it, but the FBI did. Which, given the FBI's reputation at this point, especially in the true crime niche, again, was it planted?
Our lab for DNA. Said, no, guys, let's put it to our lab. Why would you do that? Because our lab has all the markers of those.
So would Quantico.
People that we want. If it's your home when we're checking for a burglar, we're going to go in and do all the stuff we can to collect biological evidence. But
why didn't you do it with this one? Why does the FBI have to go in and find everything?
then we start eliminating things, doing what we call elimination of markers. Your marker. We'd get your swab. We'd get your kids, your wife, your housekeeper, your yard man, whatever it is. All those things are at my lab. And they were there at the start of this. So it only makes sense. And then we do another scene. We do another.
CYA, cover your ass. If the FBI wants to take that critical of evidence, you let them take it. You let them. They got the nicer toys. They got the better equipment. You let them take it.
The search warrant. All that goes to our lab.
Do you believe you found the DNA of the perpetrator inside the house? Do you believe that at this point?
What I believe is, what I know is, we found DNA. And
that was not Nancy Guthrie's DNA?
That was not Nancy Guthrie's DNA.
Was there a sign of a...
What about anybody else's? Or, well, I guess you did say Nancy, but...
violent struggle inside the home?
Ignore that last one.
I'm not going to talk to what's inside that home.
2 more questions.
What do you say to those people who are frustrated out there? You've talked at your press conferences, you've talked openly about Monday morning quarterbacking, right. Armchair critics. What do you say to those people who are just frustrated?
Armchair critics. You have blood at the scene and you open it 24 hours later without finding a goddamn thing. FBI makes one sweep and finds and finds a glove. This isn't Monday morning quarterback. It's simple 101, first day on the job BS that someone who has risen to the rank of sheriff should be able to accomplish.
Frustrated, as I'm sure you are.
Well, sure, but and I get their frustration, but let me say this to those people. They've been of help, too. A lot of those people have given us leads. I can't worry about the naysayers or the haters are going to hate. You don't like...
Yeah, let a naysayer know. We're gonna silence all the haters. No matter what happens in this case, whether we do find Nancy and are able to bring her home alive, which is the outcome that everybody wants, or if it takes the turn for the worse. But if we're able to find the people responsible, good luck convicting them in court because your dumbass opened up the scene. It's not going to be a super expensive lawyer to get that glove thrown out. Because again, you opened up the scene of the crime. I mean, my God, dude.
Chris Nanos, or he won an election, or you don't like all that stuff. There's plenty of time to do that afterwards. Right now, our focus is we want to find Nancy.
How did
you're so focused on that you're doing a sit-down interview with Fox News. Now, doing press conferences is one thing. I get that. You want to keep everybody informed of what's going on and anything that you want to try to push the public towards. I get that. A sit-down interview is a whole different ballgame. And again, you have the whole going to a basketball game. You have potentially people having their homes raided without a warrant, which brainless Brian Enton, we'll get to him in a few minutes, doesn't question it like a good little NPC. Yeah, we got problems. You have to do everything by the book. You have to do everything absolutely spot on, especially if this kidnapping case officially turns into a murder case.
The perpetrator get inside? There's no damage on the front door that is visible to us.
Again,
sliding back door?
You're asking questions that I'm just not going to share with you. I'm sorry.
AKA, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know how he got in. here's the reality of it. There are... it could have been somebody with a key. Could have been someone with a lockpick set. Or, and I'm just going off what the neighbors have said about this community, not a lot of people lock their doors. Could have just simply walked right on in. It's a small, quiet community where nothing ever happens. I think it was Dylan Mortensen that said that about Moscow, but anyway. Yeah. So, that whole crap show, because the sheriff is losing the spotlight and he needs it back on him. So, he does that sit-down interview. And then, overnight, the other night, the FBI did a raid where 3 people were detained and later released. Now, in real time, people were going nuts. Oh, they finally got people. And I even saw some articles go full-blown arrested. Now, of course, most of you guys already know this, but I'm going to spell it out here because language is important. Detained does not mean arrest. Detained just simply means you are not allowed to leave. It could result in people in handcuffs. Could just be sit right here and wait. You're not free to leave. You have the right to remain silent, blah, 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 blah. That is all that could mean. And eventually they were let go, as Lyndon Blake of the Daily Wire is posted on what is a live blog of everything going on. If you want to keep up that way, it's on the Daily Wire. I'm not sure if it's member exclusive, but it's got a really good timeline of what's going on. So, you want to be able to bookmark a page, this is probably going to be your best one, because quite honestly, at this juncture, the Daily Wire is the only one I'm trusting on this. But anyway, we move on to the signal sniffer, quote unquote, that could provide answers. Let's see if they actually explain what this thing is. I haven't watched this yet. I want to react real time on what kind of stupidity comes out of brainless Brian Enton's mouth. So let's see.
That long. They're going to send the DNA. The sheriff is probably going to send that DNA to that private lab in Florida, which specializes in touch DNA.
Okay, we got so many issues here. We got so many issues. Okay. Private labs scare me. Especially when you have a sheriff as completely inept as this. Touch DNA. That is highly transferable, depending on where it's found in the glove. Because I'm assuming it was found on the inside, which would be a lot easier to prove that the person was there. But again, that's assuming you can get this in court. Because again, this wasn't found till after the crime scene was opened back up. So, I mean, say we do find the actual kidnapper or potential killer. and he's the one that actually did it. All he's got to say to get off scot-free is, oh, well, not so much scot-free, but yeah, I broke in. I wanted to help out with the case. I wanted to take a look around. I must have left my glove there. And that's his story, and he's sticking to it. I mean, that, or I don't know what kind of lawyer would be, what exactly a lawyer would say, but he would definitely have a case to say, how do I know that you're not setting my client up? I mean, Prima County Sheriff, they went through the house. They didn't find it. The FBI kind of has a history on this, especially when it comes to high-profile celebrity cases, such as this. So that way they get an answer and they can be the heroes.
And they can do a one-to-one comparison with the known DNA that they have and this person to see if it matches. What they cannot do is they don't have the ability to run it through CODIS. So it's going to have to go probably to the FBI lab at that point, so that we can keep this lab situation down to a manageable number. And then the FBI, or
They don't even have the ability to run it through CODIS. So does the sheriff believe that they have talked to the right person? Or is he playing hero? Is he trying to play hero ball? Because by everything that we've seen, they're not even in the right ballpark. So, I mean, I don't know how you don't send it to Quantico and run it through CODIS. And if you want to do the one-to-one comparison, you send the samples from Florida to Quantico. Get those out of the way. Oh, they all came up negative. All right, straight into CODIS. But now we got to do that extra step because, again, the sheriff wants to play hero ball. And we're spending even more precious time. The absolute lack of urgency in this case is absolutely troubling.
or the sheriff's department can run it through CODIS, the National Database for DNA, and then determine if that will hit with anyone else. But the DNA sample that the FBI is or that the private lab is in possession of, if they have sent it back to the lab to the sheriff already, it's already in CODIS. If they haven't, then they're going to have to send it back to the sheriff or to the FBI to get it uploaded into CODIS and then compared.
Maureen, we've all seen the horrifying, frightening photos from the front of the house that the FBI was able to get off the Google Nest camera of the man, covered from head to toe. Do you think, and I've thought a lot about
the people, there's more than one person there. Plain and simple. There's more than one person. The jackets look different. The masks are different.
this. Do you think someone else involved, and I don't mean just someone else to plan this thing, I mean someone else who was actually at the house that night and also went into the house to kidnap Nancy?
Well, obviously we're not sure, but I would say it's probably likely there was someone driving the car. And the car could have been right there in the driveway. It could have been halfway through the circle driveway. We don't have the entire video. I'm sure the FBI has much more video. Did this person attempt to open the front door here? Did they have a key to the front door? Did they go around to the back door? Do we have that video?
All right, I want to talk about that third photo there. That little light. So that way everybody's on the same page. That light, it looks like one of those like workman, like small flashlights that I would say a lot of mechanics use. Kind of they put it in their mouth. That way they got both hands to work on a car. And and some people are saying that it's to cover his face, which I don't think that's the case. I think that's I think he's using it because I believe the screws on it. If there's any screws on the Nest Cam, probably gonna need two hands, one to guide the front and then the other to unscrew the screw. I don't know how Nest Cams are set up. I don't use a camera system. I use a totally different system that involves lead going very, very fast. That's the system I use. It's very effective, and I love it. Love it. Anyway, so just so we're on the same page, that it's like a light, like a small keychain style flashlight.
There's just a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, it would make a lot more sense if you had at least two people involved in this conspiracy and the other person was driving the vehicle.
Why do
I can't tell if that's like a holster.
you think his backpack is so full, Maureen? It looks stuffed. I mean, what do you think could be in there?
You know, violence.
That looks like it's in a holster.
Criminals, he's obviously got a proclivity to violence, and that's one of the questions when you're trying to analyze the offender of a situation like this. He's got a proclivity and a predisposition to violence because she was bleeding on the front steps when she left. So there's just no question there. That is an actual fact that we know. So, and he's got that gun on his waistband, but with regard to that backpack, could he have a tarp? Could he have restraints? Could he have tape? Those would be the things I would expect to find in something like that. He could have rope. Who knows? But this is why when municipal law enforcement officers pull people over and they see kits like this in their trunk, or burglary tools or whatever, it gives them probable cause to search or detain or even arrest.
And just real quick, Maureen, there's something I learned about that hasn't been reported yet. We saw a helicopter very low over Nancy's house and in the surrounding area the other day. And I'm told there was something called a signal sniffer on one of the skids of the helicopter, a very, very small box, like less than 7 inches long, that could actually detect Nancy's pacemaker. And again, I have not heard this reported before, but we were able to confirm it. And it just made me think about all the technology that the FBI is likely using now that we don't know about. I mean, is there AI involved? What else do you think other tools they may be using?
Quite frankly, I don't know why this wasn't being used like the next day. We are 2 weeks in at this point. And now we're like, oh, okay, let's try this.
That we just don't know.
They'll be using every tool we have to try to bring Nancy home. With regard to this particular tool, I don't know. But I do know that the pacemaker sends off a very short distance alert or whatever. So they're going to have to get really close. How close were they to the ground?
They were close, Maureen. Yeah, that's what was so interesting when we saw the helicopter. They were so low, and we were all talking about it. Like, what?
Now, I did see in some reports that the pacemaker would be able to be detected to up to 20 feet, which I don't think is far enough to conceivably do a signal sniff like this. Especially if they were like in a basement. Now, I don't know how far the signal sniffer can detect, but if you got a thick enough roof, or even a metal roof, that's going to be a tough ask for the signal to get out.
What are they doing? Why are they hovering so low in different spots around the yard? Come to find out, they actually had this signal sniffer sent in, special for this. It's like a special piece of equipment that had to be sent in, which it makes sense now why they were hovering so low. Maureen O'Connell, I always appreciate talking to you and your expertise. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Brian. You're doing a great job.
He's not, but that's beside the point. I mean, this whole thing has been an absolute and utter mess, and it is only getting worse and worse and worse as the days go on. Again, there needs to be a sense of urgency, and there's just not that. I mean, you have the sheriff again. He's going to basketball. He's going to a basketball game. He's doing sit-down interviews with Fox. You have SWAT raids that may or may not have warrants. I mean, this is a mess. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And now we have this douchebag. He's coming on here trying to put on a serious face as TMZ gets a third email from the kidnapper demanding even more money.
A third email from the man who claims he knows the identity and the location of Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper, and he has now upped his demand. We know it is the same person who wrote the other two notes because the Bitcoin address is identical. So he says that he is going through TMZ because he does not trust law enforcement. He is essentially saying,
huh? You don't trust law enforcement, but you trust TMZ. Okay, I really thought this was the kidnapper, not the guy who says he knows who the kidnapper is. And quite frankly, I'd be tracking down that email address like a mother. And pretty much, I'm gonna get the answers I want. You're gonna be a good Samaritan, and you're gonna tell me, big boy. And I'm gonna know everything. At least that's what I would do. No, the sheriff. I mean, shit. Game's at 7:30. Gotta get this done and over with. This dude is. This is crazy. The amount that TMZ is involved in this is incredibly concerning. And it is leading people to believe that this is a hoax because of the involvement with TMZ. And you have people saying, oh, it's a ransom kidnapping. Oh, it's about the money. It's this and that. And you have like FBI profilers getting it wrong. These people who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie are extremely intelligent. They have mapped this out to a T. They may have very well done this before on a much smaller scale, obviously. And if the Guthries have been paying, which, again, this report is from TMZ, so take it with what you will, they're going to do this again if they don't get caught. And Prima County Sheriff, dude, he couldn't catch water with a bucket in the middle of the ocean. This dude's incompetent to every single extent. And it looks like the people responsible, they're going to get away with it. Now, could it be about the money? Yeah. I think it's a perk, a perk of it, but I don't think it's the real reasoning behind it. this could very well be, and this is me speculating. I think this is this is aimed at Savannah Guthrie. Whether it's a crazed fan trying to get attention, whether it's just a psycho trying to get attention, whether it could be some former employee spat, which I know there was something with the Today Show, something going on behind the scenes that involved Savannah. Not like Savannah did anything wrong. From what I've heard about it, like she was the one, she's doing good by my understanding of that. It was like some sort of misconduct by a dude, and Today's Show was gonna bring him back, and Savannah said no, and then they didn't. It was something along those lines, or it could be somebody in the media sphere who is jealous of Savannah and what she's able to do. I mean, she was supposed to cover the Olympics. Obviously, she's not doing that because of this, which the timing of that is impeccable. So, and the police saying, like, trying to say that it's one person doing this, and how, like, oh, you would see a notice in change of behavior, they wouldn't be around as much, because acting like it's only one person that is responsible for this. I think there's at least 2 to 4 people involved. This isn't a one-man job. Not to do it at this level of efficiency. I don't think it's a one-person job. I think you have 2 people at minimum. So, all right. That is the latest update that I have. As we said, nobody in custody after the SWAT mission. They've sent signal sniffers. I'll do one last sweep before we officially sign off. I don't know why the time on this is so weird. That is not. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything new, so. Yeah, so. All right, that is all I got for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. We'll be diving back in the Idaho 4 because I think that I think there's a certain amount of time coming on that where we are going to have to start talking about the lawsuit between the Goncalves family and Washington State and what is actually happening here. So, all right. Make sure to be looking for that. That'll be coming here in the next couple of days. And we'll see you all in the next one.